Hello everybody, and today's video is a little bit more special and I'm gonna dedicate it to this game, The Last of Us 2. I've been thinking to recreate the farm scene and make a short in-game video with Unreal Engine 5. So I thought, let's give it a shot. Today's video was inspired by this art book of The Last of Us 2, and the scene that I want to recreate is this one, the farmhouse. If you don't have a copy of this book, I highly recommend get one. In this video, we are going to use a free model of Ellie from Sketchfab. After we get the model from Sketchfab, we are going to use a new software which is called AccuRig. We are going to use AccuRig to rig our Ellie character super fast. It is super fast and super easy. So let's stop with the sweet talks and let's start. You can download this Ellie model from Sketchfab and link will be in the description. Go over here and click on download 3D model. After that, you need to log in. After you log in Sketchfab, this will be the download panel. So you need to download the OBJ format from this button and the additional files which include the textures of Ellie. And you're gonna have this Ellie model. After you download the Ellie files, you're gonna have one OBJ, one MTL which gonna connect the textures and materials, and you're gonna have all the textures for Ellie. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna open Blender and I'm gonna go to File, Import, select the Wavefront OBJ and select my Ellie OBJ over here and click Import. I'm gonna wait a little bit and now I'm gonna have my Ellie here in Blender. In order to verify that the textures are connected to the materials, I'm gonna click here and all the textures are connected to material. So right now we have the Ellie model inside Blender, and for the next step of rigging, I'm gonna go to File, Export, and I'm gonna choose the FBX format. I'm gonna put a name, Ellie Blender, and I'm gonna select Auto for the path mode, and we will leave everything like it is. I'm gonna hit Export now. And now here comes the fun part. There is a new software from iClone which is called AccuRig. I'm gonna leave this link in the description. It is absolutely free to download and it's very easy to rig your characters with this software. So click on the free download and download the AccuRig software. And after you download it, you just need to install it and it's completely free. When you open your AccuRig for the first time, you need to create a user for yourself, and this is the panel of AccuRig. So the first thing that we need to do is we're gonna choose our Ellie file. Also, you can search Sketchfab models. So click on choose file and select the FBX model that we've just exported from Blender. The first step that AccuRig gives you is to select the center point of your model. And right now our Ellie model is centered perfectly, but you can move this line over here if you think that the center is somewhere else. And here you have a center line and some values from 0 to 100. I'm gonna put 50 as I think this is the right center for my model. And I'm gonna click Rig Body. Now this is super important step. You need to place where the joints are. So I'm gonna start with the shoulders. I'm gonna click over here and you have here in the picture where you need to place this circle in the shoulder joint. But let's make our life easy and click symmetry because we are creating a humanoid character which is symmetrical. So I'm gonna move the right joints and the left will follow. So I'm gonna select this one over here. This should be on the mouth. So I'm gonna move it over here on the mouth and I'm gonna rotate it on the side. I'm gonna move it a little bit further, following the pictures over here. Then I'm gonna check my other, which is the neck. I'm gonna move it a little bit like that. And it should be just like that, all right? So we've done the mouth, the shoulders and neck. Now let's move to the clavicles. All right, I'm gonna move this a little bit like that, those joints. Let's check out our elbows. Our elbows looks good. The wrists looks good. And let's check out our hip joint. I'm gonna move it a little bit inside. And our crouch, which is the center, the pelvis, I'm gonna move it a little bit up. Let's move the knees over here and place them like that. I think the ankles are a bit higher over here. And the foot should be over there. All right, I'm gonna move the foot joints a little bit forwards, somewhere over here. And that should be it. I think those positions are right. You just need to tweak it by hands. It's super fast. Let's continue on by clicking Rig right hand. The hands are a little bit tricky and you need to spend some time, but the logic is the same. When you hover on the joint, it will show you in the right corner over here which joint you select and what should be the line of this joint. So I'm gonna place all my joints very fast. Once you finish placing the joints, you need to click here, Rig left hand. I'm gonna do the same for my left hand. And once you're finished placing all the joints on your left hand, you just need to go over here and click Finalize Character. The AccuRig process is finished and we have our character over here with a default idle animation. If you have some problems on the geometry, you can always go back to the hand rig from here or to the body rig and fix your errors. And of course, you will need to AccuRig it again. It will take some time, but you are able to fix all the errors that you've made. From here, you have a preview motion. When you click over here, you can check different motions of your character. You can check the A pose, you can check the T pose, you can check the straight pose of the character, you can check some other poses. And AccuRig is doing a great job. Let me show you this one, where you test your rig. And my Ellie looks very good. The auto-rigging process is pretty nice with AccuRig. If you go to the hand section and select the first animation, it will test the rig on your fingers over here. And as we see here, we have pretty nice and smooth fingers. The export process is pretty easy. You just need to click over here, Export, select Export FBX, and then for the target application, from the drop-down menu, select Unreal Engine. Choose for the max texture size original, click on Export, select the folder that you want, and click Save. This was the rigging part, and AccuRig is pretty good to speed up your rigging process. You can find a link to this free rigging software in the description below. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button in order not to miss more cool upcoming videos like this one. And if you have any comments or questions about the rigging process using AccuRig, write in the comments below and we can make a discussion about it. Let's continue with the model integration in Unreal Engine 5. Now, as we have our rig ready, I've created a new Unreal Engine 5 project with the third-person template. And the next step is to drag and drop your FBX from the AccuRig export and import it into Unreal Engine 5. I'm not gonna choose skeleton and I'm gonna turn off the import animations. I'm gonna click Import All, and here we end up with a lot of materials and textures and with the Ellie model. I'm just gonna drag and drop Ellie over here in my scene, and I'm gonna get close to my Ellie. As you noticed, our materials are broken. We need to fix them one by one. So I'm gonna go and double click on this material. And this is obviously the skin of our Ellie. And what is wrong is the blend mode. The blend mode is translucent and it should be opaque. I'm just gonna change it to opaque and save it. And you should make the fix for all the materials that have translucency and should be opaque. So I'm just gonna do this real quick. Once you've switched all the translucent materials that doesn't need to be like that to opaque, you're gonna have a pretty clean model over here. And what's left is to fix the hair. I'm gonna fix the hair pretty quickly and I'm not going to create any sophisticated hair shader at this point. So I open the first card and I'm gonna change the blend mode to masked. And I'm gonna connect my texture sample to opaque mask channel over here. I'm gonna click Save. And this is the quick fix for my hair in order to have it to look a little bit better. I'm going to repeat this step for all the hair cards over here. Once we fixed all the materials, our Ellie will look good. But as you see over here, we have a lot of reflections on her shirt, which is not natural. And also we have a lot of reflections on her hair. So I'm gonna fix this pretty quickly. What you need to do is I'm gonna open the first hair card and I'm gonna hold 1 on my keyboard and left mouse button over here. This will add a constant value of 0, which I'm gonna connect to specular, and I'm gonna click on Save. And this will tune down my specular to 0. It will look more natural. You should do this to all the materials that you think that the specularity is too much. You're gonna end up with this pretty looking character. The next step is to create the character controller and connect animation to our Ellie. In the next section of this video, we are going to create the animation for our character controller and link them up. If you have any questions so far, let me know down in the comments. Let's move on with this video. We have our Ellie model inside Unreal Engine 5, and now we want to replace it with the mannequin. So let me go back here and delete this one and delete this one, the Blender file. And when I start the Unreal Engine, we have this default mannequin over here, alright? So what you need to do is you need to go to your third person blueprints and find the BP third person character. Double click on it, go to the viewport, click on the mesh, and from here we're gonna select our Ellie Unreal. And I'm gonna compile and save, and let's see the result. Right now we have our Ellie as a character, but we don't have any animations on her. This is the next thing that we're going to do. We're going to add few animations to our Ellie. Now what I want to change is the speed of the character. I want Ellie to walk pretty slow, so I'm gonna select the character movement over here and go to max walk speed and put it to 30. I'm gonna compile and save. Let me go back, hit play, and my Ellie now moves very slowly. But this is the immersion that I want, to move very slowly through our scene. Let's move to our animations. I'm gonna create a new folder in the Ellie folder and call it animations. And I'm gonna right click over here, go to animation and create animation blueprint. I'm gonna select the Ellie Unreal skeleton and create the blueprint. I'm gonna put the name BP animations Ellie, and this will be my blueprint for Ellie animations. I'm gonna double click on it, and here is the output pose that we are going to have. The next step is I want some animations to be applied to Ellie, so I'm gonna show you how you can get animations from AccuRig. When you rigged your character, you have this button, upload to Actor Core. You're gonna upload your rig to the Actor Core website. And the Actor Core website is a library with a lot of animations over here. They cost around $1 to $3 and they're pretty good. All those are motion captured. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna use the free ones. So click over here to the free, and I've already downloaded two animations. The first one will be this one, the walk relaxed, and I'm gonna use this animation and apply it to my Ellie. And the second one will be my idle, where Ellie is standing. This will be my idle pose. And what you need to do is click on the green download button. You're gonna have a download settings. I'm gonna select my rig avatar character and choose export motion only. I don't want to have the skin, I just want the motion. Click on next, and from the drop down select Unreal, select 60 FPS and click on download. Once you've downloaded the animations, you're gonna have walk relax start, walk relax loop, and the male idle. And I'm gonna drag and drop them into my Unreal project under Ellie animations. For the skeleton, I'm gonna choose Ellie Unreal skeleton and click import. And now I'm gonna have my Ellie animations over here. If I double click on it, I can see the idle. If I double click on my walk loop relaxed, I can see Ellie walking over here. So we have our BP animation Ellie, and right now what we need to do is we need to create a blend space. I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna go to animation, and I'm gonna choose blend space 1D. I highly recommend, if you're creating an advanced locomotion system, to use the blend space, as blend space is directional, so you can have left or right, you can have backwards, you can have sideways. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna use the blend space 1D because I just want to walk forwards. I'm gonna select it, I'm gonna choose Ellie Unreal Skeleton, and I'm gonna name it BS Ellie. And here we have our blend space. What we need to do is we need to arrange our animations from start to end. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna select my idle pose and I'm gonna drag and drop it over here. And I want my Ellie to idling when our speed is 0. The next one is we need to start walking. I'm gonna drag and drop over here, and I'm gonna select for my walking to be starting at 1. And finally, my walking loop will be at 30, as I've set up the speed of our Ellie to 30. Another thing that I want to do is I want to smooth the time between transitioning from one animation to another. So I'm gonna put 0.1 and I'm gonna select ease in out. The next parameter that you want to tweak is the wait speed, and I'm gonna set it up to 1. Now I'm gonna save. So we are ready with our blend space, and I'm gonna close it and I'm gonna open my blueprint animation. So once we've opened our blueprint animation of Ellie, I'm gonna drag and drop here and I'm gonna search for machine, and I'm gonna create a new state machine. I'm gonna name it Walker Motion. Over here I'm gonna align it and I'm gonna double click on my state machine. I'm gonna create a new entry. I'm gonna drag and drop and I'm gonna create add a state. I'm gonna name the state idle slash walk. All right, this will be my state over here. And what I want to do is I want to create a variable which I'm going to call speed, and our variable will be float. I'm gonna compile and save. Now let's go and connect our blend space into the state machine. I'm gonna double click on idle walk, and here I'm gonna drag and drop my blend space. I'm gonna connect it to the result of the state machine. I'm gonna drag and drop my speed over here, get speed, connect it to my blend space. So this speed will control my blend space. Now let's create our logic behind the speed. I'm gonna go into my event graph under my BP animation. And here from try get pawn owner, I'm gonna drag and I'm gonna search for get movement component. I'm gonna get the movement component, and what I want to get is the velocity. So I'm gonna get the velocity over here. All right. And from the velocity, I want to get the vector length. So I'm gonna drag here. All right, vector length. And this vector length I'm gonna apply to my speed and set my speed. So I'm gonna drag and set my speed over here, set the speed, and I want this to be executed in the update of our animation. Okay, so this is how you're going to control the speed and transition the speed into our locomotion system. Now I'm gonna compile and save. And now we have one final step in order to create our animation. Go to the third person blueprint, open it, select your mesh character, and under animations, you're gonna choose use animation blueprint, and we're gonna search for the blueprint that we've created, which is BP animation Ellie. I'm gonna compile and save. And one final thing, I want to change the camera position. Now I want to change few parameters. So I want to set up my field of view of 70. All right. And I'm gonna set my location for my X 143, for my Y 31, and for my Z 67. And finally, I want to set up my rotation pitch to -10. Now I'm gonna compile and save, and let's test this out. And I'm gonna hit play. Now we have our Ellie over here. The camera is looking pretty good, and let's test our animations. Our Ellie is walking slowly, and when I stop, she's going into our idle position. Let's test this again. Starting to walk. All right, looking pretty good, pretty immersive. So we've set up our Ellie and the animations. The next step is to create the environment. Now we have a fully functional Ellie character controller. We have few animations for it, but before that, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button so we can move on. Now, as we've created the Ellie character, I've created this environment in which I'm going to capture my short movie clip. So let's make a breakdown of how I've created this scene. All right, guys, let me just zoom out of the scene. In the center of our level, we have a house here, which is the main focus point, and this is our home of Ellie. I've placed here a dead tree and a little bench which is sideways, and my idea here is that this house is abandoned, and that's why everything here is in foliages. I've also added a tractor, which we have a similar tractor in the original The Last of Us 2 in the farm scene. I've put here a fence. Everything here is a Quixel Megascans. The tree, the fence, the bench, except the tractor and the house, I got those from Sketchfab. The next thing that I did is I've used an auto material for my landscape, and I'm going to show you what material did I use. I used the MW auto material, which is this one. This is not a free plugin. It is available on the Unreal Engine Asset Store, and I bought it in order for me to speed up the process. But this material adds very nice detail. It adds grass, it adds mud, it adds rivers, and it adds some puddles over here which are from the river. All right. For the background, I've placed few meshes over here. I've also got those rocks from the Megascans library, and I've put the MW material, which is the mountain material. What I did use for my trees over here is the European horn beam, which is now supported in Unreal Engine 5. And the few tweaks that I did is when you go to your BP Global Foliage Actor, and in this foliage actor, you have season strength, which will change the color of the trees. So let me show you, for example, if I put 0, my trees are green. If I put 5, we're going to the autumn. And the final thing that I did is I used the Ultra Dynamic Sky plugin. And in this plugin, you can set up almost everything to your taste for the environment. I've played with the time of the day. If we put 500, we are getting a night scene over here, and we need to add some lightning, of course. And if I put 750, we are getting sunrise. And now let me show you the final result of creating this scene. And before I end up this video, I want to let you know that I've created few Unreal Engine 5 courses, and if you find any of the topic interesting to you, you can go into the description below and check them out. And finally, if you want 1 month of Skillshare premium subscription, you can find the link in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and happy game development. I'm out.